rounds left here. Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. If this is your first time with the channel, my name is Mark.
Oh, hi Mark.
Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. This time we're going to be revisiting the RIley Defense RAK47 Krink. And I get it, I got it, I know it's not a Krink, got it. Clay calls it the Kronk, sure, whatever. I do understand the differences between this firearm and an actual AKS-74U. So for those of you that want to try to blast me in the comment section, you're going to bring a lot of actually energy to this video, and I really don't care. But at the end of the day, I've got this up over 1,500 rounds, and as you saw from the thumbnail, I did have to send this back into RIley Defense for them to take a look at it. And a lot of the haters out there are going to be like, aha! But we're going to explain all of that in this video. And again, I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can, as I normally do. I'm not getting paid to say anything good, bad, or indifferent about RIley Defense. I have my opinions about them, but at the end of the day, I'm going to talk about the good with the bad and let you guys decide whether or not this is something right for you. Unfortunately for me, as much as I would love to get the round count up higher than what I have it at right now, ammo costs money, and unfortunately I only have so much 7.62x39, and I only have so much money. So with all of that being said, one way that you could help the channel is to consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. If you want to further help the channel, a great way to do that is to give me a like, comment, and share this with your friends. Let me know what you guys think about RIley Defense. Is it one of those companies that is kind of changing their perception, changing the things that we see on the market today? Or do you feel that they are still not all that great? I would love to hear what you have to say down in the comment section down below. If you want to financially support the channel, there's a number of different ways that you can do that. There's a thanks button on this video. If you want to donate money to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Help fund the ammunition. Or become a member. That's another great way to do it as well. There you go. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to get back into the RAK47. This is obviously a 7.62x39 version of the Krink. Again, we're going to call it the Kronk or whatever, but I did run into some issues with this, and I want to say a huge thank you to Clayco47 and Jacob from Gun Quality Enforcement. They really helped me diagnose some of the issues with this. And ultimately, I did send this in to RIley Defense because I just wanted the peace of mind that what we were seeing was actually the case. So, first 700 rounds, let's talk about that real quick. I do have a video on that. You can check that out over at the card at the end if you're interested in it. But essentially, I think it was like 686 rounds or something to that effect, but basically kind of in that first 700-ish round range, we did see some premature deformation. The firearm ran great, but as far as the carrier and the bolt lugs and a little bit of peening on the hammer, we did see some peening that was a little bit quicker than what most people are used to, especially when it comes to like Wassers or even Arsenal 107s or whatever the case may be. Maybe Zastavas, the M92s. We saw some deformation a little bit earlier than what we had expected. And that's something that I did speak with RIley Defense about. And they assured me that no, that's not the case. This is actual wear that is normal to AKs. Some may disagree, but in their opinion, that's normally what they're seeing with their rifles. So that was interesting. to say the least. You should be able to see some B-roll here of what the internals look like at that approximately 700 round mark. From there, I ended up going out once again and running it with just without a suppressor. The first 700 rounds I put, I would say probably 350-ish rounds, give or take, 50 rounds with the Resilient Putnik. And then in the second 500, 600 rounds that I put through it, I ran it without the can as well. And that's where we started getting into problems in the second range iteration. Again, I ran this very hard. I ran it as fast as I possibly could. I would load up like, I don't know, 10 magazines and run through those as quickly as I possibly could, heating this up very fast. I mean, it got very, very hot. But one of the issues that I ended up running into is when I would insert a new magazine, I couldn't charge the firearm. Once I was able to get it charged, it would run just fine. But that first round on a new magazine, I could not charge it by hand. I'd have to jam it against the tailgate of my truck. I would have to rack it against the tailgate of my truck to get it to go. And then, like I said, once it started shooting, it was just fine, no problem. And I was very concerned about that. I thought that maybe the deformation that we saw on the bolt lugs was deforming even further and causing it to kind of wedge itself into that trunnion, which is a big problem. But I'm just not experienced enough. I don't have enough knowledge when it comes to these types of things. When we're talking about AKs, a lot of my experience is with ARs, so I don't have to deal with a lot of the issues that we see with AKs from time to time. So that's when I reached out to Clayco47 and Jacob from Gun Quality Enforcement. Got a group DM on Instagram, private group DM, that we were looking at some of the issues, and I was sending them videos and showing them this and that. And two things they saw. Number one was, I think Jacob mentioned it first, that there might be an issue with the gas block, and that it might be an issue where it's gummed up and the piston head is like wedging itself into the gas block. To which Clay was like, go ahead and, open it up, take the recoil spring out, pull the carrier out, take the bolt out, and then run the carrier through this to see if it does in fact wedge. If it wedges itself into the closed position, it's probably the gas block. If it doesn't, then it might be something with the bolt. Sure enough, that's what I did, and it did get stuck in the closed position without the bolt. So there's something going on with the gas block. Essentially what it ended up being was it was fouled up. There was a lot of carbon buildup inside the gas block because of me running it so hot, so fast, and suppressed that it was basically fouling itself up. And that's a PMCS, or a preventative maintenance type of situation, that I should have known better as a content creator, a YouTuber. Again, my experience is with ARs mostly, so we don't have to worry about that too much with ARs. However, they did tell me all you need to do is take a wire brush, stick it inside there, clean it out, you should be good to go. And I wanted to do that, but at the same time, I wanted to have RIley Defense put their eyes on it to see if that was actually the case, to make sure that what we were seeing was in fact what was happening, and also allow them an opportunity to check the head spacing on this as well, and then report back to you guys. So they did. They looked at it. The second thing that we also saw on the videos that I was sending to Jacob and Clay was we were seeing some rust. And that was something that RIley Defense even brought up too. They're like, hey, we're seeing a lot of rust around the gas block and the handguard retention bracket and on the carrier and bolt. What's going on with that? And I was like, yeah, that's actually a great point. We saw it too, and I don't know why that is the case. I didn't shoot it in the rain. It haven't done anything with it that would cause it to rust. They asked me what ammo that I was running through it, and I said, well, the majority of what I've ran through it so far, about 3/4 of what I've ran through this, is the Tele ammo. The only reason why the rust wasn't as bad as it could have been was because I ran some other types of ammunition through it, to include Barnaul and Red Army Standard. And so running that Tele stuff caused a lot of rust, possibly because a lot of people believe that it's corrosive, even though it says that it's not corrosive. At the end of the day, I don't know one way or the other, but we do see some rust on this now because I ran so many rounds through that. In my most recent podcast about SHOT Show, I do have a number of people that was joining me for that episode, and we talked about that in that episode. And not only myself, but my buddy Matt, he ran into the same problem, and then Rodrigo from H-Town Werewolf, he ran into that same problem as well. And one of the things that Rodrigo said, kind of a hack, is if you do run corrosive ammo and then you run like another 100 rounds through it of non-corrosive, that helps kick a lot of that corrosive material out of the firearm and kind of helps prolong the effects of those corrosive salts in the black powder. So take all of that as you will. I recommend, if you are going to shoot corrosive ammo, obviously break it down, wash it down with garden hose, get those salts deactivated, and then clean it up. Do a really, really good, thorough cleaning session. So that's what we saw with the 12+ 100 round mark. That's what happened and why I sent it into RIley Defense. Headspace on this was just fine. They said that it was actually on the higher end of the tolerances, which is really good, which means that I don't have to worry about headspacing for, a long time after what they checked. But again, still want to make sure that you're checking your headspace from someone that knows what they're doing, a good gunsmith. So just take all of that information as you will. Once I got it back, I ran another 300-ish rounds through this to get me up over the 1,500 round mark. I'm actually probably closer to 1,600 rounds, but I don't have an exact number for you. I am confident that I'm over 1,500 rounds. And let's take a look underneath the hood as to what we're seeing with the premature wear. We saw it with the first 700 rounds, and what I ended up seeing in the second iteration before I sent it into RIley, and then after with the next 300 rounds, is that I'm not seeing any advancement on that wear. Especially when we're looking at the carrier. As you can see, the carrier tail doesn't have a lot of deformation. It does have some, but at 1,500 rounds, this is what I would say is acceptable. Same with the hammer. We see some deformation, but nothing that is not normal for an AK. Now, the biggest piece is the bolt. Let's take a look at the bolt here. And as you can see on the lugs, we do see some wear on those lugs. But at this point, I personally feel that all of that wear that we were seeing within the first 700 rounds is pretty much flattened out. It's not moving any further and deforming any more from my perspective and my opinion. And that's actually what we've also seen with Clayco and his example, and with his first, 800 rounds that he put through his that I've seen. He may have put more rounds through it, I'm not sure. Jacob from Gun Quality Enforcement, he's put several hundred rounds through his example. We did see some of the same thing, but mine, I believe, I don't know this 100%, so Clay, if you're watching, let me know down in the comments. I think I have more rounds through mine than the other two guys. So there's 3 examples for data for you guys to make a decision about RIley Defense. Now, the internet will tell you that RIley Defense is garbage, and I don't know. I don't really know. I have no experience about RIley Defense until I got this in my hands. There has been concerns about their quality and their consistency with quality control when it comes to previous examples over the last, I would say, probably 3-4 years. I've heard a lot of complaints about that, and I can't honestly weigh in on that at all. But what I can tell you, since 2023, when I saw them at SHOT Show, actually, I take that back, since 2024. So last year's SHOT Show is when I was first introduced to Ramsey and the guys over there at RIley Defense. I would say that whatever they're doing now seems to be working. I think that they've probably changed some things on how they're building these, the internal components and stuff like that. And I think that they're doing better. There are some things that I think that they need to work on. The safety lever here is still really stiff. Even if I do some tuning on this, it doesn't matter. It's still really, really stiff. So I think that they need to look at the hole here on the receiver where the safety is mounted in. Maybe check on that, because I think that's where all the stiffness is coming from. But outside of that, I really don't have any other major complaints. Maybe look at some of the hand guards and see if there's a way to, get a little better quality hand guards. I know that Clay's, or maybe Jacob's, one of the two, their hand guard was a little loose, but I don't know. Those are small, little tiny things that may not be a big issue to a lot of people, because A, a lot of people don't shoot very much, and B, a lot of people customize their AK to what they want to do with like different types of handguards like Zynico or Crooks, or even the Barwaris Zynicone clones, or even JMac Customs with their MMS system. A lot of people are changing out furniture. So that's my opinion. Again, just my opinion. And if you feel differently, great. I know that M26 Lemonade Grenade, he has different opinions about AKs than I do. He has strong opinions about Zastava. I have very positive opinions about Zastava. It's just the AK world, man. It's this way how it's how it goes. So there you have it. The RAK47 Krink, as RIley Defense calls it. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your opinions. If you have experience with RIley Defense, let me know about that as well. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be something that a enthusiast, the gun enthusiast, could buy for a AK-47 style firearm, and take it out to the range on a regular basis, like once a month or whatever, and be just fine. Most people are only putting a few hundred rounds through their firearms, regardless if it's an AR, AK, pistol, doesn't matter. Most people are only putting a few hundred rounds through it in a given year. And most of the people who are watching me and Clay and other like channels, we're kind of the exception. People who go to Kalash Bash, who go to Kalashnikon or Red October, or AK Masters, we're the exception. So just keep all of that in mind. Individuals who are wanting something that's going to do well in high round counts, imports are probably going to be the best option. So there you have it. There's my, review of the RAK47 Krink, and I'll leave it to you guys on whether or not this is something that you would want to buy. As always, I do appreciate you guys swinging by and checking things out. If you are interested in my podcast or interested in some of the other things, plenty of links down in the pinned comment, and we'll catch you guys next time. As always, here comes a high five. Freedom through strength. Take care, guys. Bye.